Hello and welcome back to National Busways West Scotland, where it is episode 70 and we are looking out over the Polmady garage where it all began over a year ago, in fact almost a year and a half ago. And, well, we've come a long way. That bus is going to the workshop, very nice. So, seeing as it's episode 70, I think it's time to take stock for a little bit. I don't know why I said that. It's time to take stock. So, yes. Waiting for the map to load, because this save is huge. And it is so busy. So, let's get things started. We have, I don't know how many garages we have. I'm going to need to count all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 down to Wishaw, 15, 16 garages, at which, and I did this off camera, we have 1,482 buses. And then if we go to the statistics page and go to company, number of routes, we have 153 routes, which make for a network of nearly 3,000 miles, covering 69% of the map. That map runs from Lennoxtown in the north. Where else do we have in the north? Renton, Dumbarton, Cardross, and of course Gurrook. Across the north. Then in the south, from west to east, we have Ardrossan, Saltcoats, Irvine, Kilmarnock, Galston, Darville, Strathaven. This one that I'm pretty sure is Lesmago. Lesmago? I'm not even going to try, even though I just did 3 times. Then up to Larkhall, across to Law. Then up the western side of the map we have all of this, through Law, Wishaw, Newmains, Salisbury, Calder Crooks, and then in the northeastern corner we have Cumbernauld. The map has 3 operations on it at the moment, which is National Busways West Scotland at Glasgow CityBus, which are our orange buses. We have National Busways West Scotland in Renfrewshire and Inverclyde, which are our light blue buses. And we have National Busways West Scotland Midland Bluebird, which are our dark blue buses. We also have another operation down here that doesn't have a branding yet. But starting out in Kilmarnock, we have National Busways West Scotland in Ayrshire. We will also have, in the near future, National Busways West Scotland in Dumbartonshire. But of course that's for the future, that's not for the recap. So, yes. So we have a few different types of routes on the network. We have our standard mainline services, we have night buses, we have local services, we have the massive network of local services in Cumbernauld, which is all the way over here. Massive network of local services. We have the Orbits network in Glasgow, which goes around the suburbs, kind of like a super loop. And we have the crown jewel of the network. Is that a route that's not activated? Nope. The crown jewel of the network is the Quicksilver. The Quicksilvers are limited stop regional services around the sort of, I almost want to call them the home counties around Glasgow, but you know what I mean when I say that. Very much inspired by the Green Line services that we had around London, and still do have one of in the form of the 724 operated by Arriva Hearts in Essex. But, well, if we have an analogue for the 724, it's the 771, which runs from Ardrossan, which is all the way out here, through Saltcoats, Kilwinning, Irvine, Kilmarnock, Galston, Darville, Strathaven and Larkhall into Hamilton. That is an absolutely monstrous run. But there's also more standard commuter services like the 701 to Gurrock and the X prefixed services, which are the X4, or X3, X4, X20 and X30, which run to Hamilton, Motherwell, Hamilton, Kirkintilloch, Motherwell and Cumbernauld respectively. Cumbernauld and Motherwell. The Cumbernauld runs the X30. I'm good at this. I'm doing this all off the cuff, by the way. So yeah, if I press H, no, not if I press H, but if I bring up bus stop view, you can see just how much of this place we're covering. And, well, our coverage out here is very, very good, because I put in a lot of routes. And, again, coverage in this part of the map, excellent. Going over to somewhere like East Kilbride, coverage is very, very good indeed. Hamilton's getting there. In the southern end of Glasgow, we do have some very substantial gaps. But I suppose that brings me on to the fleet. Again, it's nearly 1,500 strong. And I think the biggest group of vehicles are those are those that we classify the VW. So if we go back to Polmedy, we won't. The first ones, so where the VW type began, those are currently at Kilmarnock, awaiting an Ayrshire brand, currently running in the CityBus livery on local services in Kilmarnock. But it was these. In fact, this is one of the original batch TLGE. So this is where the VW type got its start. If we go over to OA, which is Barnhill Shed 2, you can see, I think these were our actual first full-size buses, which were these Mercedes Citaros, for a network called the Orange Arrows, which had, for the longest time, been numbered the C1 through to C4. But I renumbered them last week to the 801 to the 804, just because at this point National Busways wasn't really doing prefixes, so yeah, we don't have prefixes. But what we do have, if we head over, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are the big boys? There are the big boys. Oh, has that been fixed? Oh, this has been fixed. Oh, that's very nice. Okay, so yeah, these, before I get too carried away about something about them being fixed, these are some Mercedes-Benz bendy Citaros, the big boys. What's been fixed about them is this used to be the door hard modelled. But now, because of paintable doors and stuff, the texture actually works. In, to the game, the door is still on this side, but it looks like it's on the correct side now, at least. And you can see that it is a long boy. Is that all we have here? Oh, there's a bunch of renowns that do the Orbit 104 from here. So, yes, that is a rundown of where we've come in this series, and it's a very, very good place that we've ended up. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Kilmarnock, where we have 23 of our 24 buses apparently. I don't know why, I thought we had all 24, but evidently not. Which one are we missing? We're missing VW2. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the shift scheduler for tomorrow. And what I'm going to do is see how many buses we actually need to run tomorrow's shifts. The way that I do that is I assign them not quite as efficiently as possible. If there's like a shift that would go, I pick the one after it. Because the game does like to put a bit of slack, and I sort of replicate that when I do that. So I'm going to get this garage assigned and see if we have enough buses left to put in a new local service in Kilmarnock, because I try to make meaningful progress every episode, and this episode where we're stepping back and taking a look at the whole map is no exception. So I'm going to enter a little jump cut, and I will bring you back when I have an answer as to how many buses do I have spare. And the answer to the question, how many buses do I have spare at the Kilmarnock garage, is 7, but if VW2 was actually over here, it would be 8. So we have plenty of spare vehicles. I was not expecting to have that many. I thought we'd have like 2 or maybe 4. But that's actually plenty to do something quite fun, something quite good. Not necessarily, I mean, how fun is it? It's a bus management game. That's not selling it. It's a really fun game. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, what is this one? This is the 472. And this route that goes up here is the 88. So what we're going to put in is a new route, 478, which is going to run from this estate going the other way round to the 472, through Kilmarnock town centre, out along the 471's route to there, then it's going to go up here, up this road, down a bit to there, then it's going to go round this estate and then around this estate, and then come back. And that's going to be the 478. So, let's get to the 478. So, we've got our starting point in at Belfield-Lammerfield Road, and we're going to go the other way around Belfield to the 472? I think. So, this is going to go over there. Then we're going to go this way, down Helford Road. I don't think you're technically meant to stop at both of those, but I did. So, yeah, now we're out of the estate, post me, if you don't mind. And there is the 478 from Onthank to Belfield. So I'm going to go into another little jump cut to get the timetable on made. And I mean, it says it'll take 48 minutes, so I think it might end up taking 55 minutes. So that means it should have pretty slick turnarounds at either end, so that should be fairly good to run it half-hourly and hourly on Sundays. But of course, we'll see. And we now have a timetable for the 478 from Onthank to Belfield. So, it takes 29 minutes there and 28 minutes back, so running it every half hour means we only need 2 buses, so that's brilliant. We can launch that from Kilmarnock right now. Right now. So, that takes our number of free buses from 7 down to 5. And if I look at what we... Game. It's not happy. It's not happy? I'm being very careful scrolling. Right. This road looks lovely and I want to send something down it. So maybe I'm thinking of having something coming up from Hurlford, going up through Crooked Home, into Kilmarnock, around the bottom, following the... which one is that? That's the 473. And then going up here, and terminating somewhere. I don't know where. Yeah, I have no idea where. Because this estate's already served by the 477? Yes. So unless we have another route serving that estate, but I don't think that's entirely necessary. I'm going to see what this is, because maybe we don't have another route serving exactly this, but we have one that goes down here. Or it comes off of this really nice road at this junction and goes up and around and terminates at Onthank School, or does sort of this loop. Actually, I like that a lot. So this is going to be the 476. So the 476 is going to be Hurlford and Onthank. I'm doing it with and. Oh, well, sometimes I do it with and, sometimes I'm doing it with a dash. Right. My traditional nomenclature has always been to use an and to say that it goes between two circuits, and a dash to say it goes between two stub ends. So this would technically be Hurlford and Onthank, so that's what I'm going to do. Hurlford and Onthank. And this is going to be the 476. And the 476 is now in place between Hurlford and Onthank. So this one might have a slightly higher vehicle requirement because it does go further out of town and it serves the bus station in both directions. So, let's get this sorted out. This one might run every 20 minutes because that connection out to Hurlford will be important. And, you know, like, look at this alignment. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, yeah, I'm going to get the timetable done. Hopefully we'll have enough buses for this. And then that should be almost all of Kilmarnock covered, really. So, yeah. I'll see you when we have a timetable. And we now have a timetable for the 476. So, it runs every 40 minutes at first, before the second timetable layer kicks in at 6:45, which brings the service up to every 20 minutes. However, on Sunday, it's every hour at first, before the second timetable layer kicks in at 7:35, and sends the service up to every half hour. So this has a vehicle requirement of 4, which means that we will have 1 spare bus, with the number of buses that we have now, and if I can find VW2, which I think is still at Polmedy, that will leave us with 2 spare, and 2 spare on a vehicle requirement of 24 feels like cutting it, I can't lie. But we should be good, we should be good. Where's VW2? Yeah, it is still here. Solo buses, sort by license plate, T135LG, there you are. Send to Kilmarnock. There you go. So that's going to get to Kilmarnock when it's done with its shift. Shift scheduler for today, though. Do I have enough drivers? I do. Very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unassign everything that's not currently in progress. And I will bring you back. I know this was a very short bringing back, but I want to keep the pace up. And we'll have a look and see if we have enough buses. I sure hope we do. That was effortless. Who's come unassigned? Is it just a driver? Oh no, it'll be because, Yep, I know exactly what that is. It's because I've moved VW2. Okay, yeah. Yep, okay, yeah, I'm dumb. This might be episode 70 and therefore a little bit of a minor milestone, but nothing will stop me from being dumb. Especially at 6 minutes to 2 in the morning, the day that this episode goes live, because, you know, when have I ever had my stuff together, really? Well, actually, this week I will actually kind of have my stuff together, because Saturday, as in when By Night episode 20 comes out, yep, definitely By Night episode 20, I will be moving out of my halls in London, my uni halls in London, and moving back to Medway. So what I'm going to be doing is recording next week's episode of South Coast, so that I don't need to worry about it on Sunday night, and then uploading this week's episode of By Night, so that I don't need to worry about that. Because yeah, I'm getting my stuff moved out on Friday, and then I'm moving myself out on Saturday. It's a weird thing. Anyway, shift scheduler. I need to go to Polmedy and have a look at the allocation there. Indeed, there's one. Let's find a VW. They're sorted by license plate, which is endlessly annoying. Oh, look. Yeah, the allocation of VWs here is incredibly loose, so that's fine. I'm going to kick it into high gear, and let's see, let's have a look, let's take in the first runs on our new services 478 and 476. And it's now time to join the first 478 from Belfield to Onthank. So, naturally, because the save is so big and my PC was really good 13 years ago, it's lagfest. In fact, I'm going to zoom out a bit. Hang on, just a moment. Yeah, that should be enough. There we go. And 1 times speed. There we go. So yeah, coming up the Holford Road, we're getting very busy as we head into Kilmarnock. Then on the way up to Onthank, we skirt the bottom of the town centre. Oh, and the side. Oh yeah, because we go up this way along the 471, which, conveniently, we're right behind. That's a masterpiece of timetabling right there. No, it's not. That's really bad timetabling. But, you know, what did you come to the Camj Kerman channel for? Competence? If you came here for competence, I suggest you came to the wrong place. But we're passing through a load of bus stop, which is, you know, fun. And now coming in to Onthank, where we go around this side, rather than past Mount Carmel, and then into, or past the primary school, and then around this part of Onthank, which I'm sure has its own name. And the game's having a moment. It really wouldn't be an episode of anything on the Camj Kerman channel if it wasn't having a moment, would it? You know, sometimes I have a moment when I'm filming by night. But yes, actually, speaking of by night, so I've got most of the end of the series filmed. I have 3 episodes left to film. As you're watching this, if you're watching it when it comes out, I'll be filming one more episode as of me living, you know, with me living in London, sort of tonight, as you're watching this, if you're watching it when it comes out. And then, ooh, there's a 476. Getting distracted. So yeah, one more episode of me, while I'm living in London, then there'll be 2 left. Which I'll be doing after my move to Medway. So, yeah, I think I'll be able to keep weekly uploads of By Night up until the very end. So, yeah, that's the By Night news. Now it's time to join the 476 on what I believe to be its first or second southbound run from Onthank to Hurlford. So, leaving Onthank on time, which is always nice, going around the bottom where the 478 goes, then back up to the primary school, then going around this part of Onthank the same way as the 478, before coming out of it like this and going down the main road. Game having another moment, giving me time to demonstrate that with the mouse cursor. Saving failed. Make sure there's enough disk space available. Oh, I know why saving failed. Because I'm using the drive that this game is on as virtual RAM, just to help the game run a bit quicker, because the game's on my boot drive, so that the game can maybe run a bit quicker, because my boot drive's an SSD. And I'm also using the boot drive as virtual RAM, because it's an SSD. And therefore, it's going to be quick. And to be fair, performance is better than when I had it set up the other way. But then this route goes down this leg of the roads into Kilmarnock from the west. And then we go up and around the town centre. So we're going up to the telephone exchange, like that. Then down into the bus station, in and out like that, and then we're going to come out of the bus station this way, past Sir James Shaw Bart statue. Like that. Yeah, there's a 476 and a 473 going down this road, very nice. I do like how I've managed to get the network set up such that you don't really get consecutive numbers going down the same road, because I don't really like that. I don't think it looks nice on bus stop signs. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of consecutive bus numbers going down the same road unless it's like a trunk corridor, as we have going down the Great West Road. But just coming into Hurlford now, and finishing off where we will have 14 minutes layover before starting off again, heading up to Onthank. But I think that's all she wrote for this week. So, we now have 155 routes, worked by our 1,482 buses, covering probably, I want to say, not quite 70% of the map now, probably like 69.6% of the map or something if I was to put a number to it. And yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at how big this network is. Look how busy Glasgow is right now. Like, you know, this is a huge operation. And, you know, it stretches out to Dumbarton, north of the Clyde, and all the way out to Gurrock, south of the Clyde. And then sort of inland, we have a night bus that goes all the way to Calder Crooks, with daytime service to Airdrie from Glasgow. Then we have our regional services in Cumbernauld, and we have a night bus that goes all the way out to Newmains with daytime service to Motherwell. And yeah, this is huge. This is huge. I love this save. It's not going anywhere anytime soon unless it becomes absolutely unplayable. So, I think, on that note, I will see you next week from National Busways, West Scotland. Bye bye.